The valley was quiet that morning. The golden sun rose slowly above the hills, painting the sky in soft shades of orange and pink. At the center of this valley flowed a gentle river. Its surface shimmered like glass, reflecting the light of dawn. The air smelled fresh, carrying with it the scent of pine trees and wildflowers. In a small village beside this river lived a boy named Sami. He was known for his curiosity. Every day he would walk by the river, listening to its whispers, wondering where it began and where it ended. To him, the river was more than just water. It was a friend. Always moving, always alive. Sami often dreamed of following the river far into the mountains, but he had never gone beyond the familiar paths of his village. Until one day everything changed. It was a quiet afternoon when Sami helped his grandfather clean the attic. Dust floated in the sunlight like tiny golden stars. As they moved old boxes and books, Sami discovered something unusual. An old rolled-up parchment hidden inside a wooden chest. Carefully he unrolled it and saw a map. The paper was yellow with age. The ink faded, but still clear enough to see. It showed the river stretching beyond the hills, far into the mountains. At the very end, near a small lake, was written a single line: "Where the river sleeps, wisdom awakens." Sami's eyes widened with wonder. "Grandfather," he asked, what does this mean?" The old man smiled softly. "Ah, that map has been in our family for many years. No one has ever followed it completely. Perhaps it is not meant to show treasure, but to guide someone willing to listen to the river itself." That night Sami could hardly sleep. His heart was filled with curiosity. He knew the river was calling him, inviting him on a journey. At dawn the next morning, Sami packed a small bag. He placed inside some bread, fruit, a notebook, and a pencil. He tied the map carefully with a string and tucked it safely away. Then, with excitement and a little nervousness, he set out, following the river upstream. The water glistened as it moved over smooth stones, creating a melody of trickles and splashes. Dragonflies danced above the surface, their wings sparkling in the sunlight. Sami walked slowly, taking time to notice everything: the tall grass swaying in the breeze, the butterflies landing gently on flowers, the way the river curved and bent as if pointing the way. Every few steps, he paused to write in his notebook: "The river is alive. It feels like it is speaking, telling me to keep walking." As the day grew warmer, Sami dipped his hands in the cool water and smiled. The journey had only just begun, and already the river was teaching him to observe, to listen, and to move with patience. As the sun began to lower, Sami found himself walking through a forest where the trees stood tall and silent. Their trunks were wide, their branches stretching high into the sky. The air was cooler here, filled with the earthy scent of moss and damp leaves. He sat beneath an old oak tree, resting his legs. Closing his eyes, he listened. The wind moved through the branches and the leaves rustled softly. To Sami, it almost sounded like whispers. He leaned back and imagined the tree speaking to him. "Walk with patience. Listen with your heart. The river will show you its secret." The thought made him smile. He did not feel afraid. Instead, he felt calm, like the forest itself was guiding him. He wrote in his notebook, "Even the trees have wisdom, if we only listen carefully." That night he slept near the roots of the oak, the sound of the river keeping him company, as if it were a lullaby. The next morning, Sami woke to the sound of birds greeting the new day. He continued walking, following the river as it wound its way deeper into the forest. Soon, he saw movement by the riverbank. A deer stood there, its brown eyes calm and curious. Instead of running away, it looked at Sami for a long moment, then began to walk along the river, keeping a gentle pace. as if inviting him to follow. For hours, the deer stayed near, stopping when Sami stopped, moving when he moved. Later, a small bird landed on his shoulder. It chirped a gentle melody as if encouraging him on his path. Sami laughed softly, feeling a warmth in his heart. He wrote in his notebook, "The river gives me friends. I am not alone on this journey. Nature is walking with me." The deer eventually returned to the trees, but Sami knew its presence was a gift, a reminder that kindness exists everywhere, even in the wild. By the third day, the river had grown stronger. Its current was faster now, rushing over rocks and stones. Sami heard a sound in the distance, a deep roar like thunder. Following it eagerly, he soon came upon a hidden waterfall. The sight took his breath away. Water cascaded from a tall cliff, crashing into a crystal-clear pool below. Mist filled the air, cool and refreshing. Rainbows shimmered in the sunlight, appearing and fading with every drop of water. Sami sat near the edge watching for a long time. He wrote, "Beauty waits for us when we keep walking, even when the path is hard." The river rewards patience with wonder. He drank from the pool. It was the freshest water he had ever tasted. For a while he simply listened to the sound of the waterfall, feeling his heart grow calm and steady, like the flow of the river itself. As the days passed, Sami began to notice the lessons hidden in the river. When it met a stone, it did not fight, it flowed around it. When the path was steep, it grew stronger and faster. When the land was flat, it became calm and peaceful. He thought to himself, the river is like life. Sometimes it is easy, sometimes it is hard. But no matter what, it keeps moving forward. He wrote these words carefully in his notebook, knowing they would guide him even after his journey ended. At night, under the stars, Sami felt grateful. The map had not only led him on a journey through the land, but also on a journey within his heart. Finally, after many days of walking, Sami reached the source of the river. It was a quiet lake high in the mountains. The water was still, so calm that it reflected the sky perfectly. The stars above shone in the surface, as if the lake itself was holding the heavens. Sami sat by the shore in silence. He realized this must be what the map meant. Where the river sleeps, wisdom awakens. In the stillness of the lake, he felt a deep truth sometimes. The greatest wisdom comes when we pause, when we sit quietly and simply listen. There was no treasure chest, no gold or jewels. But Sami knew the journey had given him something far greater: patience, courage, and a new way of seeing the world. When Sami returned to his village, he carried with him stories of forests, waterfalls, and mountain lakes. He showed his notebook to his grandfather, who read it with a smile. "The river has always been our greatest teacher," his grandfather said. "It flows forward no matter the obstacle. It gives life wherever it goes, and it teaches us that the journey itself is the treasure." Sami kept the map safe, not as a guide to places, but as a reminder of the lessons he had learned. Every time he walked by the river, he felt its gentle voice reminding him, "Move forward with patience, live with kindness, and carry peace within your heart." And so the river continued to flow, and Sami continued to listen.